Thank you very much for coming to this session about testing. Yeah, in these next 30 minutes, you're going to learn how to, write clear, clean, and maintainable automated acceptance tests. Let me say that this talk was submitted by Jonas Mart, but sadly he couldn't come to give this talk. And well, maybe some of you know Jonas Mart for being the creator of Serenity BDD, and also has written these amazing bugs like Java Power Tools, Jenkins, The Definitive Guide, and BDD in Action. But yeah, I'm Alex Soto. You can find me in several open source projects like Herculean, Tommy, or ASCII Doctor. And I'm write a DZone ref card about Apache Tomcat, and also currently I'm working on writing the Herculean in Action book. So, first of all, let me tell you a warning, that is that in test automation, do it well or don't do it at all. Because I'm sure that, at least in my experience, and I'm sure that in your experience as well, happens that you start a project, you start, writing unit tests, integration tests, functional tests, whatever, all these tests. Then the project advances, and then you don't have time to write tests, so you start to writing more and more business code. At the end of the process, the tests start to fail. You don't know why it fails, so you start to ignore all of them. Some other tests are flaky tests, so you don't know why, but sometimes fails and sometimes not. And at the end, you finish by doing something like maven install -d, skip tests, and this is your release cycle. So instead of losing your time at the start of the project writing tests that it's not going to be maintained or well written, then skip it, because they are pretty useless at the end. And how you can write better tests? Well, first thing that I would say is that please don't treat your test as a second-class citizens. Sometimes you say, I'm going to apply a lot of design principles in my business code, but then there are the tests, and you don't know why, but you relax and you start to not apply all the patterns and all the principles that you have learned in your other courses, like in university or on the school. And yeah, at the end, the test becomes a really useless thing. For example, some of the topics that you can be focused on tests is the separation of concerns, single responsibility principle, open-close principle, or narrative coding style. Sometimes happens that you start to you write a test, a unit test, for example, and when you read again after 1 month, you simply don't know what this test is doing, because it's a lot of code put there, and you know exactly what's doing. So, about the separation of concerns, I would say that probably from the business point of view, your company does something like this. It has this pyramid, which has goals. It is what you are trying to achieve. This is the goals of your company. Then, at the lower level, there's tasks. Is what you need to do to achieve these goals. What are you going to do for saying, okay, I want to, let's say, earn more or adopt more people in my flight company, for example, what I'm going to do to gain more adopters. And then at the bottom of the pyramid is that the actions. What interactions with the system do you need for each task? How you're going to, talk with all your environment to earn these goals that you have on the, on the top of your pyramid. So one way, or let's say that the way is by creating behavior-driven specifications, like this one. But let me ask you first, how many of you think that this specification is well written? Nobody. Everybody sees that the specification is okay. Yeah, I mean that it seems that it could be well written, but as you can see, there is some things like when I enter buy some milk into the new to-do field, this is a, you are mixing business things with technology thing. Or for example, when they say, I press enter. Yeah, I mean that it's quite specific for, for a computer that has an enter, but it's not your business, don't have an enter key at all. So what you need to do is write a behavior-driven development example, something like this, with the given when then, again, but notice that now I said, when I add the to-do action, buy some milk, then buy some milk should be recorded into my to-do list. So this is it's focused on business, not on how it's going to be implemented. And that's very important. Because this, at the end, these scenarios should be reviewed not only by developers, but also for product owners, if you're using Scrum, or product managers, or marketing people. All of them must be sure that you are on the direction to achieve your goal. But also, you need more things, like high-level feedback from all the layers of your company, also detailed feedback. I mean that, of course, you need to know what you want to achieve, what is your goals, but also you need to know the details to implement exactly what the business wants. And of course, it's like you need like a book of your future documentation with everything that you need to implement there. And this is where Serenity BDD comes into the scene. It's like Serenity BDD, we can think about it's a tool for writing BDD in an easy way, since it uses the technologies that are already on the system, like JBehave, Cucumber, JUnit, Selenium, etc. It puts all together and gives you some common way to do the things in a good way, and also it forces you to write it, or to write your test in a good, or following good principles, so they are more maintainable or reusable. So basically, Serenity BDD uses a layered approach, which means that, as you're going to see in the next example, you go from the top of your application, and you still, where it's, the top of the application is the business thing, and goes down and down and down until you face it to the technology thing. It integrates with JUnit, Cucumber, JBehave, TestNG, with all these well-known technologies. If you need to access to the browser, it uses Selenium WebDriver, but it can be used for REST API as well. Then you don't have this Selenium access. And one of the really interesting things is that the living documentation system that it has. We're going to see an example where you can see all the rules that you want to apply for a business method, or sorry, for a business process, and which of these are implemented and which not. So you are moving the coverage from code coverage to future coverage. So in case of Serenity BDD, the same parameter is like goals are tests or scenarios. Tasks are the steps you need to do to achieve these goals. And interactions is the page objects or other technical components. Page objects, it's the pattern of Selenium that maps your browser to a model object. Then if you are going to use a WebDriver or a browser, the interactions are a page object. But if it's a REST API, then it's, for example, REST assured thing. So this is again another specification, another story or feature. The scenario is the goal. The goal is record a new to-do action for future use. This is our goal. Then we have a task. Then the task is when James adds the to-do action by some milk. This is something. It's the task you want to do to record this goal. And then we have the then buy some milk should be recorded into his to-do list, then notice that we have, that code is it's the real code, the Java code, let's say, that when you map all your scenario with a method, probably if all of you are using Cucumber or JVHF, this is something that you are pretty familiar. And this is the task itself. I mean that it is add an action called action name, which at the end it's a call to the to-do page. This is the implementation of the page object. And of course, when you talk with the browser in this case, this is the interaction with your system. So of course, we will need to have some report that if this scenario has passed or not, if all the steps, the given, the when, and the then has worked or not, also having some kind of feedback, visual feedback sometimes, about how has worked everything. And this is where Selenium gives you a really good report in form of HTML, also PDF, or there are several formats. And yeah, I mean that. Let me show you as I code this thing. I have here a project, which is the one that we have seen. No. Notice that we have a feature which is add new to-dos. This is, that the big goal. Then we have some goals, that is record a new to-do action for future use, new to-dos should be marked as active, or new to-dos should also make coffee. And then we have all the given, when, then. And each scenario has his given, when, then. And of course, if you want to see in this case, the record to-dos, it has also other scenarios, which is that you can also complete to-dos. So how does this map to Java code? It simply have here this, here. By simply creating a class, which you use the run with annotation, which is this is the JUnit annotation, and you set where all these features are defined. In this case, in source resources, features record to-dos, which is this directory that I have already shown you. Now, there is one other thing that you notice, that this class is empty, and then you need to define the steps that it needs to be executed by Serenity BDD. And in this case, they are defined in record to-do steps, which notice that in this case, what we have is the given, I need to, and this regular expression. This is what we are going to be, it's going to be mapped with this expression. Then we have also this when I added this, then this, and then this. I mean that you have all the this is the mapping between your future and your class. And notice that here Jane, which is an actor, should add an action called this action, should see the to-do action, and so on. And these to-dos, they are annotated in steps. This steps annotation makes that Serenity BDD inject all the WebDriver and so on inside steps. So if you go into to-do steps, you will see that it's a simple class which has a to-do page. This is the page object pattern. And then here it has all the implementation of the method. For example, should see the to-do action, should see to-do action, filter by status, etc. These are all the steps that you will require from the point of view of your story to be executed. And finally, if you go inside to-do page, you will see a simple page object, which extends from page object. You have the default URL to start the browser, and then it has all the typical Selenium thing here of finding elements, typing keys to a form or so on. This is the typical thing. And that's all. I mean, with only, you create the page object, which is quite big with all the interactions with the browser. Then you create your steps here with all the, with all the steps that is required by your business logic, and putting this records to do, it will execute. And now if I run it, you notice that the store Serenity. Notice that, well, JUnit is also intercepting this thing. You can see here that the futures are printed here. And now, we will need to wait because it uses an external to-do application in this case, and maybe, let me check. Oh, cool. Okay, demo problems. It's down? Even the wired one? Yeah, we could. Oh, cool. Now, maybe and this one, yeah. Oh, well, what we can do is we explain more things, and then let's see if I have it. Yeah, thank you. Let's try it with the wire, and if not, I will. Here. Let's see if we are lucky. Well, sometimes it takes. Oh, okay. Sorry, guys, I have net. I want to run again. I start the browser again automatically. Now it goes to the site of MVC. It writes, buys some milk, and checks that it's active, and so on. And finally, it's executed 3, because remember that there are 3 scenarios to execute. And that's all. It's green. All these scenarios and these scenarios has been executed. It's quite simple to do when you have all your steps defined, because you can reuse these steps in other in other places. But this is okay. But probably most of you, if you are using page objects, you will notice that page objects becomes a bloat classes with a lot of logic there of dealing with web elements by searching for CSS elements and so on. Also, your page objects will have multiple responsibilities. I mean that you're mixing there, going to a page and sending keys to a form, or pushing a button. Doing modifications in the page objects, sometimes it's hard. And also, if you are using a single page applications, the page object, it's like page objects are static and my page is dynamically refreshed, so I don't know exactly how to fit this. And yeah, some guys notice this, and they introduce something that is called the journey pattern. And the journey pattern, what it does is making user-centric tests. It means that the user, the actor is doing something, is the base of all the tests. It uses a lot of small reusable components, and since that they are small and there is only one responsibility, it's really easy to reuse them, and it's really, as you will see now in example, really easy to read what this test is doing. So this is James, and James wants to know what actions can do. Also want to know which abilities can do. For example, they can browse the web with a browser, or it can also query a REST service. This is something that James can do. And also can do some tasks against the system. For example, buy some milk, which means adding the milk to the to-do application and press enter. And of course, the goals are implemented in this way, as we have seen. The abilities at the end are code. So when you have the ability of browse something using the web, you do something like this. You do the actor James is an actor that is called James. It has a browser, and you put James can browse the web with his browser. This is, this is code. It's something that you coded, and it's really natural for people to know that James can navigate. Of course, James can also buy some milk, so you can put that James attempts to add a to-do item called buy some milk. And of course, this attempt add to-do item is like enter the value things to do into the list and then hit return. Yeah, I mean at the end you still need the interaction with the browser, but in a more readable and easy way. Let me show you the same example as before, but using the journey pattern. In this case, we are going to see the here the filter my to-dos, which basically it says that I should be able to display only the active tasks that I have in my to-do list. So I have, again, this class, which has the run with JUnit annotation, and I put here the location of my stories. Then I have that filter to-do steps. Notice that now it's quite simple. I'm using only the when, because the other, the given and the then, it's already on the records to the steps definition that we've seen before. So now the only thing that is different is the when, so I put what is different here. And notice that I said the actor name, this is the parameter that I received from the future, you can see here, Joe's in this case. Attempts to filter items by a status, the status that is given by the file. So if you want to see how this is implemented inside, you can go to display items, which is the one who displays it's the class that implements. Notice that it's really, really simple. And basically what it does is use this static method is browse the web as the actor that I'm putting and find all to-do list items. And well, this is to, because this receives the HTML and you always transform the HTML or text to text. And that's all. You don't need anything else. So, and you can see it's really more readable, this thing, that the other example that we have run before, that you need to define all the steps, all the a step inside the steps, for example, all the configuration with WebDriver and so on. And one thing that I need to show you now is that repos, that we say that repos are really useful in Serenity BDD. You will see now. Here I have the okay, now here you can see all the results, which is Thing that I can do. Yeah. You can see that all tests are 12 passed tests and 2 pending. It means that 86% is passed and 14 is pending. And pending means that you have created the .future in the directory, but it has no JUnit implementation. So it means that you know that you need to match or you need to implement this feature, but it's not implemented yet. So with this simple metric, you can know the work that is not done. Also, of course, you will see if someone is failing or it has an errors. You can see all the capabilities here with filter my to-dos. It's all tested and implemented, but the record to-dos, you can see that there is one feature that is not implemented yet. And again for the add new to-dos and so on. And you can see one example. These are all the requirements. Filter to-dos, maintain my to-do list, and recording to-dos. Notice that here it's green. It means that all has passed. And if we go to complete a to-do action, you see here that a completed a to-do action is okay. Given I need to buy some milk, it opens the to-do application. You can go there and you can see a screenshot. Then you can go to buy some milk and you can go here and say, yeah, I typed buy some milk. And at the end, you can see here that the add milk has been completed and the test is success. So as you can see that the things that the reports that you can generate with Serenity BDD is really, really interesting because you know every time for each execution which features are implemented, and failing, and which features are identified but not implemented, which is really good thing to know what it needs to be done. And in this summary, you see that add new to-dos requires some work. So, well, the website of Serenity is serenitybdd.info. The code of this example are on GitHub. Also, if you want to learn more about the journey pattern, you can go to bit.ly/RSG-journey, and you can see a lot of information about journey pattern. And that's all. Do you have any question? Okay. Thank you. If you have any question, you can send me an email or tweet or whatever.